Smithe is a Mexican street artist who can control particles of matter with his bare hands. He wasn't born with this gift. He started developing it the day he realized that matter is mostly empty. It is in fact condensed energy. 99% of an atom is what we would consider empty space. I use the words "we would consider" because there's no such thing as purely empty space in the universe. According to the laws of physics, the space we consider empty is actually filled with invisible fields of magnetic energy that keep matter together, such as the Higgs field. The reason why we can't go through objects is because the electrons on the surface of our body generate an electromagnetic field with a negative charge that repels other energy fields. Objects never really touch. They are fields of energy that repel each other. Electrons spin so incredibly fast around the nucleus of an atom that they create what we perceive as a solid object. But physical objects are not really formed by solid matter. What keeps their particles together is an electromagnetic force. This means that 99% of our bodies is actually energy. If the space between the electrons and the nucleus of an atom was really empty, nothing would hold the particles together. The whole physical world would collapse and disintegrate. It's energy that holds the physical world together. Electromagnetical fields support material reality. All is energy. All is vibration. Energy is what extrudes matter, what fills up physical objects. An invisible universal field of vibration keeps the physical world standing. And this energy doesn't act randomly. It actually creates very specific shapes and patterns in the atomic structure of physical bodies. Have you ever considered why crystals grow naturally in shapes such as tetrahedrons or hexahedrons? It is because that is the shape of their atomic patterns. They grow reflecting the atomic structure of their particles. Studying the behavior of atomic particles is the best way of seeing the underlying unity behind all things. All matter in the universe is based on a very simple set of geometrical shapes. Today they are known as the Platonic solids because it is believed that Plato was the first person who speculated that all matter molecules are arranged following only 5 geometrical shapes: the 5 regular polyhedra, tetrahedron, hexahedron, octahedron, dodecahedron, and icosahedron. They are the only perfectly symmetrical, three-dimensional geometrical forms possible. These shapes are present in all nature, from crystals to our DNA. Plato considered these shapes so elegant and essential that he believed they were the building blocks of all matter. He is believed to be the first person who assigned each one of them to an element, as he believed the 5 elements form all that exists in the physical world in different combinations. Some people believe this knowledge is actually older than Plato, but it was forgotten a long time ago. The fact that atomic particles arrange themselves in molecular patterns based on the 5 regular polyhedra may have been already known in the times of Atlantis, but Atlanteans assigned different elements to each one of them. In the times of Atlantis, the tetrahedron was linked to fire, the hexahedron to earth, the octahedron to ether, the dodecahedron to water, and the icosahedron to air. We will come back to the subject of Atlantis. For now, let's just say that Plato recovered some ancient knowledge that had been forgotten after the fall of our previous civilization on Earth, around 12,000 years ago. If we sort the regular polyhedra by their number of faces, the octahedron falls in the center. This shape represents ether, which is called the fifth element, as it is not directly involved in the formation of physical matter. This element, also known as spirit or akash, is the invisible energy that holds everything in the universe. From a scientific viewpoint, we could consider it as the Higgs field, an energy field encompassing the whole universe, interacting with particles to give them mass by reducing their speed, creating matter from photons. If it didn't exist, particles wouldn't have enough mass to attract each other, and they would float freely at the speed of light. Matter is formed by densified photons. Everything comes from light. The octahedron is formed by two equilateral triangles, one pointing up and another one pointing down. This geometrical shape represents the connection between the sky, or the light, and the ground, or the physical world. We can consider it a pre-existing element, the energy that supports all creation. So all that exists is formed by a combination of the four physical elements that came later. The fact that all matter in our universe is made up of a combination of these elements may seem strange when we first hear it. Are we made up of air, fire, water, and earth? Let's clarify this concept. Imagine the beginning of time, when nothing existed, only the source consciousness, in complete darkness. This initial emptiness is pure potentiality for all that can be created, but nothing exists yet. Now imagine you are this consciousness. The only thing that makes you know that the world is not a cold, empty, dark place is the fact that you exist. You can think. You are aware of your own awareness. This realization makes you happy. Just the fact that you are aware of your existence fills you with joy, because it means there's consciousness in the world, and with consciousness comes a great amount of possibility. As an all-mind being, you want to create in order to experience yourself, to experiment and understand what you are. The first logical way of doing so that comes to your mind is to create a copy of yourself. In the same way, a cell duplicates in the womb of the mother through mitosis. In this way, you clone yourself in the void. Now, you can observe yourself as a separate entity. Duality has been born. There is a reflection of yourself you can look into. You understand the concept of positive and negative, but there is no confrontation, fear, or feeling of separation. Only two twin consciousnesses floating in the void. So you create a third copy. Trinity is born. The neutral element completes the cycle. This original trinity continues duplicating again and again until it becomes a complex organism. And then this complete being can be cloned, having an independent consciousness and identity. In this way, the source consciousness can create autonomous individuals that can think and act on their own. These original fractals of the source are called the Elohim, and they contain the three original aspects of the source: positive, negative, and neutral, or masculine, feminine, and the combination of both. The Elohim exist in the timeless world of no matter. From there, they create the Akash, the first element for them, the fifth element for us, as we observe reality from the densest plane of existence. The Elohim stand at the origin of creation. We are on the opposite side in our final form. This element will serve as the foundation for all the other elements and organisms that will be created. The Elohim want to experiment and create life, filling the void with universes of countless beings. The Akash is the energy field that will sustain all life and contain the etheric patterns of the original designs as blueprints of all organisms. It will also serve as a record to register energetically all the physical events. Now that the foundation is set, they can start densifying particles to create heavier elements. In this way, they create what we could consider the first living organism in the physical world, the first body or vessel for life, air. It is hard to see air as a living element for us. It becomes easier if we call it gas. All the elements are living organisms with a unified consciousness. Gas formations are in the origin of galaxies. Gaseous matter gravitationally attracts mass in an accretion disk, allowing the formation of material universes. The densification of matter continues with the creation of fire. Stars can be born. All stars are living organisms based on the gas and fire elements. By continuing to reduce the atomic speed of particles, the Elohim create water, and finally, Earth. The Earth element does not refer to our planet or to the ground or sand we step on. It refers to all mineral life. Now planets can be formed as universes become cooler. But the Elohim cannot experience what they create, as they don't have physical bodies. They exist in no matter. They want to be able to see, smell, touch, hear, and taste what they design. So they start considering the possibility of designing a physical body optimized for an advanced consciousness to be able to experience the physical world. The Elohim, or Trinity deities, start creating void universes and creators of worlds in antimatter, which lies between the world of no matter and the world of matter. Creators of universes can experiment combining the four original elements to design different biomolecular organisms that can host etheric consciousnesses in the densest planes of existence. This is not an easy task. It requires eons of time of evolving lifeforms and combinations of elements. The first thing that the creators of worlds realize is that it is not easy for an ethereal consciousness to get used to the denser planes. It requires a long process of adaptation. Souls fractalized from the source start by incarnating in the densest element, Earth, the mineral kingdom, as a life form without its own independent energy field, only a physical body. This is known as the first density. In this phase, we experience the evolution from stone to crystal as we increase our vibration and we develop an energy field around our body. This phase is linked to understanding the structure of matter by following atomic patterns to grow. It is essential to realize that all elements are living organisms. All planets are mineral life forms, even those in which there is no water. When we add water to the mix, many new life forms become possible, such as plants. But even without the water element, a mineral planet is a living organism. We tend to think that life is not possible without water, but dry planets also contain life, mineral life. Planets without water are in the first density of their evolutionary process. By incarnating in mineral form for long periods of time, consciousness gets used to having a physical body. The second density comes after developing our energy field. In this phase, we incarnate in the plant kingdom. In this stage, we evolve from plant to flower as our vibration level increases. This phase is linked to developing our sensitivity to our environment through the sunlight and water we absorb. In the second density, we are still connected to the earth element, but we start our ascension path through our own energy field and sensory perception. The third density comes with the addition of the emotional field or emotional body. In this stage, we evolve from animals to humans as our vibration increases. Incarnation in the animal kingdom is linked to developing our survival instinct. In this phase, we develop our emotions towards other living beings through activities such as protecting our offspring from harm. The second phase of the third density starts when we are ready to incarnate in human form, adding a complex mental body to the mix. Finally, after millions of years of evolution, our fractalized souls are ready to incarnate in one of the most advanced vehicles for life in the material plane, the human body, a masterpiece of biomolecular design, with a physical body, an emotional body, and a mental body. We are now experiencing the second stage of the third density. For the first time, we have the opportunity to develop enough to re-establish the connection with the light body we left behind when we were descending along the fractalization path from photonic charge to material bodies. Our bodies are a combination of the four physical elements, as they are vessels for us to come down to the densest plane of existence. When science tells us that around 70% of our bodies are water, we don't have any problems believing it. But when ancient wisdom tells us that everything in the world, including our bodies, is a combination of air, fire, water, and earth, some people may have problems accepting it. Now that we know that air refers to gas and earth to the mineral kingdom, we can understand this in a better way. If we ask scientists what the remaining percentage of our body is made of, the other 30%, they will tell you it is minerals, such as the calcium in our bones, or the magnesium or iron in our organism. We are 70% water, 30% mineral life form. We are water plus earth, while a star is a gas plus fire life form. All the elements are living organisms by themselves. Water has consciousness and memory. Everything in existence in the physical world has spirit. When Smithe realized that we are mostly water and that water has consciousness and memory, he had a moment of epiphany that totally changed his perception of what we are. Water is constantly going inside and outside our organism. We don't keep it. It moves through us, cleaning our body and giving it the hydration it needs. But apart from this, it also does something totally incredible. Water acts as a connector as an energy conductor. It does not belong to us. We don't consume it. We let it go as the air we breathe. We borrow the water in our body from the sky and from the earth. It belongs to them. And because we are able to hold that water, we are the sentient receptors between the earth and the heavens. When water goes through us, we absorb its consciousness and memory. We are it, and it is us. We don't drink it. We become one with it. At this point, Smithe understood what humans are doing on this planet. We are the connection between the sky and the earth. We are the combination of the masculine and feminine energies. All planets in a solar system are descendants of the sun. When a cloud of gas forms a solar nebula, the centrifugal force generated by the rotation of the core sends out gas clouds that cool down while moving away from the center, orbiting around the sun in a disk that condenses into mineral form. The gravitational pull brings the rocky asteroids together, which finally become planets of the system. All planets, gas giants, mineral planets, our planet, are pieces of the sun in different states of evolution that came out of it billions of years ago. The sun can be considered as the father of all its satellites, and then the earth is the daughter of the sun. Humans have the capacity of connecting the male energy from the sun and the female energy from the earth, completing the Holy Trinity as the neutral element, the combination of both. We are here for a reason, and we are totally welcome on this planet. We have a mission. All life on the surface of the earth creates a connection that allows the planet to absorb the energy coming from the sun. We are channeling light. But where is the air and the fire within us? Are we only made of 2 of the 4 elements? Our physical bodies are made of the 2 densest elements, earth and water. We also contain fire and air, but not in our physical body. Fire is the kundalini of our energy body, and air is constantly flowing in and out of us, allowing us to absorb the oxygen we need to live. When we understand that we are made of the same elements of the planet, we realize we are not on Earth. We are Earth. We are the neurons of the planet. From this point, exploiting the natural resources of the planet, such as minerals, or hurting any other living being, such as animals, becomes unacceptable, as we know we are part of the same organism. But what about the 5th element, the Akash? If it's all around us, why can't we see it or feel it somehow? We lost our connection to the Akash during the fall of Atlantis, when humanity descended into the 3rd dimension. Before this happened, we were connected to the universal ethereal field. The 4 physical elements were the first beings or bodies created in the material universe from which all life forms derive. We are the result of billions of years of evolution and combination of the 4 elements. Our bones are the mineral kingdom within us. Our hair and nails are the flora in our bodies. We contain all the memories of our previous incarnations. But we are not only physical beings. We combine body, mind, and spirit. Our consciousness is a fractalization of the source consciousness through an everlasting process of replication and densification from the void. We have forgotten along the way, but we are actually the same. When you are in the void, you will realize that you and God are one. There's no difference at all. But in the original void, the concept of God didn't exist. There was no good and evil, no heaven and earth, no left and right, no polarity. The source consciousness didn't know it was God. It just was. It just existed. It was unnamed, as nothing existed before it to name it. The concept of God was created through the separation from it. The source consciousness creates to understand itself, to unfold, to experiment. Understanding the unity in the origin of all that exists is essential to realize that when we hurt someone, we are hurting ourselves. And when we love someone, we are loving ourselves. The fractalization of the source consciousness allowed it to feel the joy of becoming one again. The act of creating a copy of yourself makes it possible to love yourself, but also to hate yourself. That is why true love has the capacity of connecting us with the divine. It is our choice to decide which way to go. The world is divided into those who believe that God created humanity and those who believe that humanity created God. But we have never considered the possibility of both statements being true. In our videos, we will analyze different concepts using a non-dualistic approach, moving away from polarity, trying to reconcile different theories and visions of the world. This is just one of them. As we have seen, the way in which our bodies are created follows a similar replication process to the one that was used in the origin of reality. Our cells duplicate following geometrical patterns. Even though it's hard to see when we are adults, if you look at the mitosis process of any living organism inside the ovum, you will see how cells arrange in geometrical patterns when they divide. They don't just duplicate, creating a formless cluster. They create very precise shapes. The structural memory from the first density plays an important role in this process. All we learned in our incarnations through the different densities during our ascension path is necessary for us now. Structure, sensitivity, survival, and emotion. The way in which cells divide at the beginning of life is called the pattern of creation, and it is based on a geometrical progression in which each number is multiplied by 2. One cell becomes 2 cells. 2 cells become 4 cells. 4 cells become 8 cells. 8 cells become 16 cells. And so on. The number of cells grows exponentially, and stem cells become specialized to form the tissue of the different organs until the full living organism is created. Then the organism starts growing. Specialized cells will continue to perform their function for the rest of their lives, as long as they have nutrients, oxygen, and a clean environment. Atoms, molecules, cells, planets, stars, and galaxies create these patterns to form specific geometries. Living organisms and cells have memory that makes them adopt these shapes. But how can atoms know how to behave this way? As far as we know, atomic particles do this because some invisible fields of energy make them act this way. This is the diffraction pattern of a beryl crystal. You can get these images by shooting X-rays down the z-axis of the atomic pattern of the crystal. In the same way electrons, neutrons, and protons are the particles that form the matter of our physical world, planets and stars are the particles of the galactical world. Humans are microorganisms that inhabit one of these particles. The Big Bang was the moment in which this pure energy sparked and created our physical universe, setting the particles in motion. Before the Big Bang, all the matter of the universe was condensed into a black hole. Particles that once were together stay entangled forever. This means that all the particles of the universe are interconnected. They are part of the same original system. Energy is what keeps atomic particles together, and it cannot be created or destroyed, only transformed. As we saw with Mr. Thumbs, the material world is derived from the mind, and mental energy is a manifestation of consciousness. All the things that exist in our physical world started as an idea. The metaphysical becomes physical. Mind becomes matter. Material things don't just pop into existence. They are originally created in the mind. Materialism defends that consciousness emanates from the brain, but it is actually the other way around. It is the existence of consciousness that makes it possible for our reality to exist. Consciousness is metaphysical. It doesn't need a brain to exist, but a brain needs consciousness in order to function. Thinking that consciousness needs a brain is like thinking that a song needs a disc to exist. A song can be recorded on 500 discs. If we destroy the disc, the song will continue to exist. It may actually have existed even before discs were invented. The song started existing in the brain of the composer as an idea. We live in a world created by another world. You can think of it as a dream. When your brain starts dreaming, a whole new reality comes into existence. A big bang inside your mind. A micro-universe generated in real time by your brain. And it does such a great job that you cannot even distinguish it from the physical world. When you are dreaming, that world is real for you. Have you ever asked yourself which reality is more real? The dream world generated by your mind, or the physical world created by matter? One thing is for sure, if matter is mostly energy, if it's created by entangled atoms floating in space, kept together by electromagnetical fields, then there must be a deeper layer than the physical, a foundation that serves as the support of the material world, an operating system that makes it possible. When Smithe realized this, he reached the conclusion that everything is energy, everything is vibration. Physical objects are vibration, sound is vibration, our voice is vibration, our thoughts are vibration. Physical matter is just vibration at its densest form. What we consider empty space is actually filled with ether connecting all things in the universe. In this moment of epiphany, his eyes came out of their sockets and his brain expanded out of his head, reaching a level of enlightenment out of reach for most human beings. And this is the story of how a Mexican street artist realized that everything in the universe is energy and vibration.